entirely different.
Yeah, the Mangachu Farah, I mean, it reinvigorated me. It was the espresso I needed this evening. That was fun to watch, but no more hype needed, as these are our grand finals. Rise Nation up 1-0 by proxy of winning the winners bracket, having never lost a set today. So it is 2 games and they take it home. 3 games for Tempo Storm. They take home the bulk of the prize pool tonight. And I don't want to jinx it. I think I'm going to. I'm gonna see if I just can live through this. I haven't screwed up the overlay once tonight. Not once.
Oh man, well that's always good, but make sure it's correct this time.
It is. I double-checked it before I said that.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're not running that triple tank, triple support composition, so and at the same time, I think they have the right tools they need to really deal with that Pharah right now, right? They have Zen. I think they should be positioning Zen in a little bit of a safer location, maybe on the upper levels. That way, you know, it forces Mangachu to kind of like pick a position. You can't just aim at the ground and auto snipe the Zenyatta, and the Zenyatta is not super safe in its current position, but at the same time, I think the upper level does allow for better Discord access from them, but you know, not really. I guess it doesn't really matter if all you're gonna do is be challenging the main ground anyway. So let's see exactly what they do.
Well, man of the hour is Mangachu. He's getting damage booster rockets on King's Row. It's definitely his favorite hero. He likes to run it if he gets the chance. So far, no one has done enough to deny him of it. It's going to be a lot on X-Retzy to do so. X-Retzy's running great and free. He's already coming in over the top, trying to get those rockets landed. He does do a lot of damage. No kills just yet, but that is going to be solved rather quickly as he takes on Faz. Spirit takes down Naptime in the meantime. Spirit and X-Retzy have been the dynamic duo for this team tonight. Takes down both supports in the backline. Do they have enough sustain to continue this fight? Mangachu looking for a pack, unable to find it, down to 38%, but he is taken out of the sky by Spirit. Are they going to be able to hold this? They got so much damage done on that, killing the supports, but it is too late. Tempo Storm with a first cap.
Yeah, and Spirit does go down relatively soon. He is at 84% in terms of his ultimate right now, so he does have that qualification in his Wig Edition in the background right now. Naptime is at 71, along with Mangachu at 75, which is the big, I guess, honestly, the big duo to follow, because let's say they get Rocket Barrage up and Rez, all of a sudden that encounters Spirit, who currently has almost ultimate as well as Destro. So there's going to be a lot of emphasis on keeping Naptime alive, as well as, you know, being able to get a safe Rocket Barrage.
Alright, well, X-Retzy is going to be trying to take down Mangachu, but Mangachu already with the barrage up. He is just getting so much poke damage in, and maybe not the kills just yet, but just so much pressure. He's trying to come up over the top. He gets behind them. He's going to have patience of this transcend. He is waiting it out. He gets deflected back to him, and X-Retzy takes him out of the sky, but a nice deflect from Spirit. All for naught, though, as the Resurrection brings everyone back to life. Let's do it again. Sound Barrier off of Resurrection is a combo as old as Overwatch. They are bringing it back now. 2v2 go down in this fight. B Dropped has been the unsung hero, has been cleaning up a lot of these messes that remain after Mangachu bursts him down. B Dropped with a 3k. Mangachu adds in. This Tempo Storm team looks unstoppable.
Yeah, and that res comes at the perfect time, basically when all the ultimates were bursted and done with on the side of the defense.
Don't worry. We'll see it if there's a play of the game. Don't worry, we'll see it. It's going to be Naptime in a house somewhere.
Yeah. But, oh man, that key res right there. But they're able to push in to the last point whatsoever right now, so they do have a lot of room to work. It's all about Midnight right now with that key Graviton Surge. If he's able to contain them, maybe... I think he wants to grab Hui, because Hui right now has ultimate right now, but they grab a lot of them right now, and they're able to do hopefully a lot of damage. Spirit's able to zip through and basically clean everyone up. Doesn't even have Dragon Blade, just dash, right click, shuriken, is able to take them down. I will say this, that does buy them a lot more time. They do have a lot more ultimate charge, but Midnight is now down a Graviton Surge, and on the other side, Hui still has ultimate. Mangachu will soon has ultimate as well as Mini with the Earth Shatter. So,
oh god, the concussion takes down Midnight just out of nowhere. I was watching Desro and he just saw his friend get booped to his death. I guess we're going back to the Mangachu camp, but be wary of Desro. If you're joining us late, he has made a name for himself by huge Earth Shatters and cleanups, and a lot of this Rise Nation team and success has been based around his ability to just clutch out Earth Shatters. However, it is going to be Spirit who is the one coming in right now. He's trying to get the Dragon Blade going. He does get one. He does get Hui down. There goes Mini as well. He's looking for more in the background. Can he find Naptime, who thinks he's safe in this hidey hole? How does Naptime do it? He is elusive. He does bring the resin, but here comes that Earth Shatter from Desro. There is a lot of people on the ground, and the cleanup crew is there.
Yeah, honestly, super clutch timing for Spirit to find Hui just as he's kind of on top, jumping down for that Death Blossom, able to kill him almost immediately, making sure he doesn't wipe any of the defensive presence. But man, that was some good shielding by Deso in terms of making sure that Earthshatter doesn't catch him out or anyone behind him at the time, so he's able to kind of respond almost immediately. But at the same time right now, the offense doesn't have a lot of skills left. Hui switched onto the Hanzo, so I guess they're looking for some scattershot pickoffs right now, but Mini goes straight into the background, has the orb on him, gets taken down super easily right now. Spirit is able to go in the background, but Hui takes down Spirit as a trade, and man, these scatter shots are making a huge problem in the background. But Retzi has revenge on it, but B-Drop takes down Midnight, and this is just going trade for trade right now, but the offense just has the advantage. Mangachu, goes to the hook, misses, but Mangachu gets taken down by this Discord orb.
I think defense can definitely have the advantage here, as the deaths are much more permanent, especially with nap time off of the Mercy. He came up on Zenyatta, no resurrections available as they try to switch up their composition. Mangachu does come off of that fair. He is on the Roadhog, no less deadly. Of course, you must Hui on a niche pick on the Hanzo. We have not seen much Hanzo lately, so let's check out what Hui has to offer with his golden bow. It is a decent point for Hanzo, as you can just throw it right through this hallway, and there's really no great for the point for the defense. You see his marker lighting up as he's getting so much damage through here for free.
Yeah, they need to cut this back right now.
Thunder comes in for offense. Spirit might be coming out with his Dragon Blade. He is. Can he get some work done with it? He waited for that sound barrier to dissipate. Unable to get anything just yet. Tries to go up top. Transcendence is coming in, so he will get fully healed up. Desro took down Mangachu in the back line, though. It is back and forth, and Earthshatter does come in late over here. The defensive sound barrier is so patient as Desro continues to clean up, swinging the hammer, and we've said that more than once tonight.
Yeah, but right now, I would say the defense right now has a weird lull in the time where they don't really have any ultimates up. Meanwhile, B-Drop and Hui have that huge combination of the Sated Graviton Surge right there. That's almost an instant kill, and they don't have anything to respond to it.
You need Transcendence up to stop that. That is your only option. So we'll see if they can hit that here, as it's going to be B-Drop looking for it. It's going to be B-Drop into Hui. That's what you're looking for. That is the game winner.
Yeah, and they're cutting back right now. Mangachu grabs phase right out of the air, so that's one heal running down. That Graviton only catches one, which I guess is a blessing in disguise, but that Sated Dragon runs through so many, takes down Midnight, takes down Desro, and then opens up the point right now for the point take. Mangachu is able to get, oh man, kills Rezi as well, and there's just not enough time for FaZe to dress up on there. Mangachu is a monster, snagging people out of air, stopping the contest, and that is 1 minute 43 left on the clock, but that is definitely doable on the side of Rise Nation, but you have to just look at how dominant Tempo was all through that entire push.
A good job just to kind of bring it within reach there, because they were rolling pretty hard. The defense did finally stabilize on the end, forcing them onto a different composition at the very least. A lot of that was Desro's work. We saw Retzi and Spirit combine for a couple nice kills early on, but they are going to be having to push into what seems to be Tempo Storm's new thing. It works well for the European boys in Europe, in the ninjas in pajamas, and Tempo Storm, why not just borrow a strategy? I borrow decks from Tempo Storm all the time. That is how I become legendary. Honorary sellout in honor of our new organization in the North American Overwatch scene. So borrowing a strat, totally fair. Net stratting. You call it net decking in Hearthstone. I guess net stratting here. It's not like the Ninjas Pajamas invented it. Although, if there were a candidate as far as invention goes, it would be Ninjas in Pajamas, because they've been running tank play forever. That team is based off of how good they are at tanks, even back to their SG1 days. So that's what they're going to have to push into on defense. Triple tank, triple supports. This is Tempo Storm's new look.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not sure if I'm not sure the side of Rise Nation is going to be necessarily ready for this. Obviously, they have Desro on the Widow. He's probably going to be switching off of that right now, but I don't know if they have an immediate answer to this, and that might be something that's a little concerning. I mean, we did see, Kangdu run that triple DPS, which we say, can potentially be an answer to it, but at the same time, maybe they do have an answer. Maybe all they need to do is just catch them out of position and take them out with pure team fighting ability, but my eyes are on B-Drop too. It's just been so good on Ana with his bio nades, mitigating a lot of the healing that the offense has been able to do, as well as having good nano boost choice. So I mean, there's a lot of great options, and if you want, Mangachu is still a nano boost option, but I think a lot of teams actually don't have a super good Roadhog that can do all that.
Mini's been getting the bulk of the nano boost, that is for sure. Mangachu with a pick early takes on Desro too. This push It is completely gimped early on as they lose 3 to Mangachu, a 4th to Hui. That's it. That's the push. That's over.
Yeah,
They have to get out.
That's the end of it right now. At least they know now it's a triple tank composition. Maybe they'll be able to react. But right now, I think it's actually a weird time where they actually can push in and not necessarily be punished. Maybe they can get a first take on the point because the defense needs to regroup, needs to get everyone back in place. But man, they're ready to engage into the fight. Mini just runs in and tries to get as much damage as possible. Mangachu takes down Lock. Naptime takes down Desro, and that Earth Shatter is just vicious.
Mangachu, how did he live through that? He's taking a book out, or a page out of Harblu's book with the flanks on this Roadhog. He starts it off with 1 kill. He should have been punished for it, was healing through it with his breather, gets another hook, a 3K for Mangachu. This is just demoralizing. It's gotta be.
I mean, this is terrifying because B-Drop still has his ultimate just came up, so they're basically saying, well, we do have a Graviton, so we have so many options to do this, but the moment they charge it, they could be baited out like this.
The grenade is going to keep them alive. Transcendence comes in as well, keeps everyone healthy. Retzi did take down 2 in that, though, which is huge for them. Can they get any more follow-up? Desro is there with that follow-up, and that is going to be a full cleanup. And yes, they lived through the Graviton, but that was not enough. A nice start off from Retzi on that High Noon. And look at all the damage he did post-High Noon, already back at 55%. Retzi is going to have to be the one who brings this team alive, as he has had his carry pants on earlier this evening. There are actually a lot of heroes on this team that you may not be familiar with. We had the pleasure of watching them all day. I do not think Rise Nation's out of this in the least.
Yeah, no, they definitely have the ability to have that comeback, and I think they have really good execution right now, and they do have 2, defensive ultimates, which they can use to kite back B-Drop's ultimate and the Graviton Surge as well. So they do have answers to all the things that Tempo Storm can throw at them. It's all about staggering them in a way that they get maximum value out of all of it. Great Graviton Surge, that Transcendence instantaneously comes out as counter. But man, Anna's Bionade actually wasn't able to hit anyone in the backline, so they weren't able to use the kind of the lack of healing, and instead they got turned on. Yeah,
they're getting chased down now too. They're going to have to retreat. They're going to have to boost out and retreat. Mangachu takes one last peek to see if he can get in there and get something done. But Spirit setting himself up for a giant Death Blossom. Now these are becoming a rarity nowadays. Teams have been able to play around Death Blossoms time after time, but this is actually where we first knew of Spirit in the Overwatch Open group stages. He was in this spot and nailed so many Death Blossoms. I think he peaked a little bit early there, and yeah, he's got to get out of there, but he did open up some positions there. Is that going to be Mini on the Nana boost? It is not just yet. He does Earth Shatter it though to conclude this. He's going to try to bring it back. Retzi does get a kill of his own. This is not over for Rise Nation, as they did not really burn any ults. Midnight still has his. A giant hook comes in. No death necessarily. Yo, Locke does get cleaned up by Hui after that hook. So they're going to take a moment, reset from both sides as High Noon comes out to zone it. Does not actually get dropped. So after all that build up, not a whole lot has changed. Teams are going to regroup.
Yeah, there is a small gap that, the offense does have to work with that Graviton Surge right now, and Spirit Death Blast. They do have the options to wipe the entire enemy team right now. And Naptime, he does have the ultimate, he can react, and Mangachu does have the log to push away the Transcendence to really use it with that Graviton Surge, gets locked in, and they're just holding it in the backline right now. Taro takes down Mini, but Hui is just going live in the background right now.
Over the place. Yeah, they just absolutely spread it out there. Every squad was into play. It essentially ended up being a 3v3, and that defense came out of nowhere on the other side. Like they somehow had 3 in the back there. Hui with the cleanup. 227 left in their bank to just get it to the end. And I said it earlier today, if you're just joining us in, if there's any point that I sell out on and just use 6 ults to get, it is second on King's Row, because this walk should have bus service. It takes that long to get up into decent fighting position again.
Yeah, and honestly, it's all about Rise Nation being a slightly more coordinated in their approach. Great Graviton Surge with the Transcendence, but man, there's so much ultimates going on. Mangachu's obviously getting that big damage done. Earthshatter doesn't do as much as Desro would want, but he's managed to take down 2, and that's more than enough. Mangachu takes down Lock, but in the backline, Nano Boost is actually used. Mangachu's going up.
Yeah, Nano Boost on Mangachu. As I said, not always the primary target, mostly because that you only have the 4 shots to really work with, 4 shots and a hook, but that is all Mangachu needed. Gets the melee into Mangachu going wild. He is going to have Whole Hog up momentarily. They just haven't had a solid answer for it. They have everything that we've theorized about. You start with a Reaper, you maybe get a Zenyatta, but maybe you need an Ana to beat this, because the only counter I see that's a hard counter to a Nana boosted tank is going to be a sleep dart. It's the only thing we've seen really effectively shut it down.
Yeah, but I think it might just be a matter of sacrificing anything else. Are you willing to give up, you know, those defensive things?
Please get this whole hog. The Graviton comes in. Do they have the follow-up? They do get the healing grenade, and Transcendence comes through, so only one dies in it. It happens to be Mangachu, but Midnight takes out his opposing number in Hui. It is a brawl on the cart. Spirit finally chimes in, finds his rhythm, gets in there. They discord and delete everyone else. B-Drop is jumping for his life, but Spirit takes away his spirit. They should be able to get this point, which is huge for them. 50 seconds. If Tempo can maybe get out here. No, they're way too far away. They are going to get an extension on this map, a reprieve, so to speak.
Yeah, honestly, and right now they're in a very good position right now where only B-Drop has an ultimate coming up in the near time, so they can capitalize and they can use Rexy, who honestly we haven't said his name a lot, but he does have a Deadeye. He has great McCree play. You can take him out.
Passive charge on his Death Blossom. So close, and he gets the bubble. He gets the Blossom. He gets two. There goes B-Drop. There goes Red Expert. There goes Hui. A 4-kill for Spirit. Flips this map on its head. A 5-kill as Extracy joins in. They're looking for the full team wipe. A great position by Spirit up there at 98%. Drops down, hits one shot, gets the allied. Really beautiful coordination from Rise Nation.
Man, in his dying moments, Mangachu was able to hook off. I think he's able to hook off. Was it Rexy? But man, that Nano boost comes in the back line. If they can kite this out, I think they're in a really good place right now. As long as no one dies, I think they can win the rest of this fight. Then Nano boost gets worn down almost immediately, but Mangachu's on that bastion, just trying to
kill on it too.
And this is the part that hurts because right now they have 1 minute left and they need to find an immediate answer to that temporary bastion.
Yeah, Exrezi and Spirit did end up switching off to different heroes to try to close that out, so they're going to have 0 ults to work with. Not the biggest thing. They do have 2 ults that can win them the game. That is going to be Midnight's Graviton and Desro's Earthshatter. Desro has hit clutch Earthshatter after clutch Earthshatter all day today. He is a risk taker on this tank. He's going to have to hit one now. He hits it from inside the Graviton. Getting cleaned up is the rest of Tempo Storm as Hui cleans up the remainder of Rise Nation. They're going to have a push left, but it's not going to be a good one.
Yeah, and honestly, there's not many options you have left. You only have Locke's ultimate, and that's, you know, that Transcendence is going to instantly be countered by another Transcendence from Navtai, and May now has Earthshatter. So you're so limited in your options. You need to pick off someone. This needs to be straight just like a fight, a random fight that you win, maybe a charge.
To do it into the Earthshatter. Part of the problem with being an aggressive tank is that you don't often have that shield up to help your team. The backline is decimated by this air hammer that comes down very late. Mini takes down 2. It is all in favor of Tempo Storm right now as they have the advantage. It is 4v5 right now. Mini does go down though. Spirit trying to bring this back for his team. Can he do enough on the Genji? He's had heroics all day today. He's got Zenyatta in his sights. Is he able to take him down? Finally, he gets him taken down. So the dash reset comes in. Can they deal with Hui? Here comes the blade. It is too late. Red Expert and Hui combine to take them down. Here comes the Graviton. That is a full cleanup. Tempo Storm is going to take this first map and equalize the series.
Yeah, now it's back to a best of 3 instead of, you know, having that 1 map advantage. And Tempo Storm has just been looking better and better all time today. And a lot of it has come off of the fact that Mangachu has just gone off and just been so influential on the Roadhog. But at the same time, you have to say Hui's just to land some clutch Graviton surges. Mini's been so clutch. And you gotta figure out an answer to this triple tank, triple support. If Tempo Storm basically finds out, hey, well, we can just use this to our advantage and, you know, abuse the fact that you can't react to it. Maybe this is, oh man, look.
He wasn't in a room. He wasn't in a room. I'll give him that. He was a little bit exposed. A brave resurrection from that Mercy.
Oh, what a brave Mercy.
Oh. So brave.
Oh man, but obviously no complaints there. When you get that 5-man res, there's only so much you can do. I think Mercy's that's your job. Just get that 5-man res occasionally. But man, there's just so many big people to stand up in terms of inside of Tempo Storm that, you know, Rise Nation needs to find an answer to this. And maybe it's not an answer to the 3 tank, 3 support. Maybe it's just a matter of, you know, coordinating ultimates better. Maybe it's better about staggering your ultimates. Maybe use a Lucio ult immediately after, you know, your Zenyatta ult, right? After you heal everyone to full health, give them additional armor and try to bait it out. And maybe try to hold on to your ultimates a little more, or maybe try to play around their ultimates. Try to conserve yours. Maybe just bait them out, lose the fight, spend, you know, around 20 seconds regrouping, but have an ult for the next fight and a more important fight at that. So,
well, if anyone knew the answer to the triple tank, triple support, I'm sure we would have probably seen it by now. Just so much theory crafting has been going on in the community about it. One thing we did see earlier from Kong, actually, is running triple DPS, but not necessarily your traditional DPS, but like throwing a tracer in there. Just kind of make sure that you're not clumped up at all times. Really attack from every angle, because what tanks have a hard time doing is reacting to all sorts of sides. You get behind a Reinhardt, he's pretty useless. If you can kind of throw out the chaos, make them like an elephant trying to swat at gnats with its tail, it makes it very difficult. That was one thing we saw being used to great success, running 3 DPS, but the flanking DPS, the behind you DPS kind of thing, did work against this triple tank earlier.
Yeah, and there's a lot of options you can potentially use, and honestly, very happy to see that, Tempo Storm has kind of come into his own. We were a little concerned at the beginning from when they got knocked down to the losers brackets by Kongdu, but, they have made it, a rise back in a way where they're kind of coming back and they're able to put up such a great showing. But it's all about this next map, and it looks like it's going to be Hollywood, which is another escort map that potentially could see a triple tank setup. I think a little less likely, because that first point just gives you so many more options. You don't need to necessarily run 3 tank, 3 support.
Okay, I believe that was our map pool, right? Kings Row, Dorado, Lijiang, Nepal?
I want to say so. Maybe I'm wrong about Hollywood, but
I'm gonna have to look at it. I think it was up here, yeah.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, I think it is. I think it should be Lijiang, Nepal, Dorado. I think Dorado and Kings Row. Yes. So I do believe it is. Should be the nice 2 King of the Hill maps and Dorado left over.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just wanted to double check. I have so much stuff on my screen. All right, let me switch it over. Let's see what sides they want. So Dorado is next. It is 1-1 Tempo Storm versus Rise Nation. Next 2 to win are the winners of the tournament. So we're going to switch sides here, and then we're going to get going.
I think there's a lot to see in Dorado. I think we saw a lot of Dorado very early on, but Dorado is a great map, I think, for a lot of variety. Hopefully we see some Symmetra on defense, but it's all gonna be about that last section push. I think a lot of teams struggle to get through that last hangar kind of like underground phase in Dorado. I think a lot of teams struggle getting up the ramp and being able to force it through. So this actually might be a good opportunity to see if triple tank, triple support is the answer to get up that ramp, or is that the answer, Tempo Storm or, Rise thinks about specifically. But it could be a very exciting game. I think it's all about the tempo that you set at the very beginning on the first point to the first chokehold. If you can defend that very well, you can potentially stall the enemy team there for indefinitely. But, if you can and you're kind of get rolled during that street phase, you might have to hopefully buy some more time in that last point.
Alright, the Dorado music fills the air. We are in Pinataville right now, and if you look closely, you can see Sombra in the background. Haha, just look at the sky, guys. I think that is the key to the entire thing. I heard there was something about Sombra today, but again, I've been in front of this screen exactly for 8 hours and 15 minutes now. We've been live, actually, for 8 hours and 21 minutes.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've only dropped 10 frames, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. But it looks like the Mei Pred expert flashing that Mei out there saying, well, I'm not going to necessarily run triple tank. I'm going to do triple tank, 1 support, and then
Mei's a tank. You can play her like a tank.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, I guess you can in the fact that she does have the ice block to initially mitigate a lot of damage, and her wall actually in and of itself is a huge shield that you can actually use. So that's actually some fun facts about Mei, that her wall is a shield. Did you know that? Did you know that you can't actually fire through her wall?
You can fire through the wall?
You can.
I haven't played with enough Meis. I don't think that's true.
Oh no, I meant you can't. That's why it's an
Oh,
actual
you can't.
shield.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant it was like a Reinhardt shield. Well, it is clearly hour 8 of the cast, guys. We'll see if we see anything really out of the ordinary. Right now, it looks like both teams running pretty standard. Well, standard as far as triple goes, as it is tempo on the attack running triple. You know, man of the hour has been Mangachu. He's going to be looking for some nice hooks early on. We'll see if he gets anything going, and they're not even going to peek. He just goes blind around it. No look, fade away. Does not end up connecting, though, so they did dodge it. They're going to hold pretty far back, but that's actually something the Rise Nation likes to do. They hold a little further back, wait for you to get in, and then they bring the fight to you.
Yeah, and they have a good opportunity right now with the Reaper in the backline, so in case you do engage too much, you actually get punished a lot. But at the same time, Mangachu is running with that Roadhog, so he might be looking for pulls, and if he can get a pull and make this a 5v6 instantaneously, that's an instant engage.
Mangachu is creeping on the backside. A charge comes in from Mini to push Desro out of position. Mangachu tries to hit his hook. He does miss. Desro takes down Mini in turn, so some Reinhardt on Reinhardt action. Red Expert does jump on Desro's head and take him out. Transcendence forced out from the defense. Are they able to do it? Here comes the Nana boost onto Mangachu as he is running wild now, looking for those hooks. Gets a kill onto Midnight. Gets a hook to finish it off on XD. That might be it. That is a ton of kills for Tempo right in a row. Mangachu will whole hog to the ground because that's just the kind of guy he is.
Yeah, intentional, clearly. But man, actually, I wonder if that whole hog use that might be might actually hurt them. And
I think that is a fat finger because they said intentional. Then he says I'm fat. So when you accidentally hit something you didn't mean to, you call it. The lingo's fat fingering it. Not as quite as cool as jiggle peeking as we discussed earlier, but
yeah, I mean my fingers are pretty skinny, so I don't make those mistakes. But I mean, I guess right now they don't really have a lot of ultimates. Desro does have an ultimate, which can be effectively game-changing. If he can knock down a Reinhardt shield, then Retzi's able to capitalize as with a dead eye. So man, he's able to charge. The Reinhardt's completely exposed right now. Maybe it's a great dead eye they can get. Jumps down and hits 2.
Nice by Retzi, the jump down McCree. He looks so funny in that animation when he's falling through the sky. Mangachu trying to bring it back for his team though as he grabs a couple, but it is going to be Desro with his Earth Shatter up, looking to be the only one left in the fight. Mangachu has things to say about that, though, as he takes him down in short order. Mangachu is loving life right now. He is rocking out emote style. He's getting kill after kill, and I don't know why I ever switched the camera off of him. I guess I'm trying to be equal here, but it has not been equal. Mangachu has been wrecking folk.
Yeah, and this is honestly worse and worse because he's on a character that can put you out of a comfort zone, and man, that backline Graviton surge instantaneously into Nana boost. That's not something you want. But Mangachu does go down, and Retzi does take down B-Drop, and Mangachu's Mini is just going to town in the backline right now. They can kite back Deso for a little bit longer, but Retzi's just making sure to punish everyone in the backline. I don't know why Red Expert ran into that team. Maybe he just wanted to wait, maybe to res back with the rest of the team, but that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. But you know, they did burn a lot of ultimates with respect to that. B-Drop no longer has that Nana boost, and right now Mangachu now does have his hold hog as well as Nat Time with that Transcendence, so it's all going to be on Spirit. Spirit needs to capitalize on this. He needs to take advantage of Nap Time, you know, maybe not being in the right position, and he needs to sneak around and capitalize it from the behind.
He sees him. He's got a great drop down. He's going to get the Zarya shield. That's exactly what he needs if he's going in. He do miss the hook. He has to Wraith out of it. Not ideal. Now not in the greatest position, but maybe he can catch them unawares as he dances around the cart trying to take down Zarya first. He does Death Blossom, but it's too late. He gets pooped a little bit away. Does take down Mangachu, but it is 3 kills for Tempo Storm in turn as Mini and Nap Time remain alive. Mini's going to be pushing their Mini and Hui, the bulk of this force remaining, trying to get some damage done with these tanks. They are trying to clean up. Hui gets the damage. Mini with the boost is inside the Graviton, but there is no follow-up, and even if there were, it is hard to kill a Nana-boosted Reinhardt. It's just too much meat. How do you do it? Like, I don't know. I've still been at a loss on how you effectively counter this composition.
Let me tell you how good B-Drop was, and this is kind of like why that fight went so poorly, is somehow B-Drop managed to sleep lock on that top edge, and he was just unable to buy Disco for the longest time because no one was actually targeting him there. So that's actually a huge point when the main way you roll through all that meat and all that kind of like that tankiness is with the Discord, and your Discord is asleep. I don't know how B-Drop hit him.
Well, they do end up using the sound barrier here to try to initiate on the offense. Mangachu with the mile-long hook takes down Locke. That has been a theme of the evening. He's looking for more squishies to deal with. Mangachu and Hui clean up, and they combine for another couple kills. A missed hook from Mangachu, but that is really the worst thing that's happened to him in the last minute or so, as he looks to clean up Retzi, who was the savior of this team a couple times, able to get him up. But there goes the hook onto McCree. You cannot leave an untouched McCree up there. Here comes the whole hog. A Wraith form out from Spirit, but how long will it last? How long can you live? Spirit lives long enough, takes down Mangachu, perhaps a little over-aggressive. Really kind of, you know, he just thinks very highly of himself at the moment, and why wouldn't you? But Spirit does take him down a peg, which is exactly what we needed, now, or what they needed. Now, we've seen Dorado last be held a great deal, and they're in a decent position. This next push is going to come in through a hallway. Spirit is in the corner. He might have Death Blossom up. This might be a check your corners kind of moment. This is where it all began on Dorado. The Dorado check your corner. They're trying to bait this in.
Yeah, but honestly, they might be able to negate this, or they might just beat dropped him in and just negate all that. But they're right underneath him right now. They're just bypassing them completely.
Well, that is one way to deal with it. Then hooked and brought in, but Spirit has had enough of that. He's just going to start shooting. He has seen enough of this show. He's going after tank after tank. Can he get B-drop? That is a huge pick of the background. Now, there's a discorded Hui, his next target. A discorded, that's how you do it, right? In theory, that's how you do it. You discord and you reap.
Yeah, and that's so good on the side of Locke right now, being able to maneuver that Discord orb around all the targets they need to do. But honestly, that nano boost is a little weird, because what happened was I think, you know, Mini ended up chasing Spirit, and Spirit was able to Wraith form away and, you know, basically waste a lot of that boost, a lot of the initial damage up there. So maybe it would have been better for him to turn around and just chase up some of the less, you know, less tanky threats, or threats with less, you know, escapes. But back in the same place, Spirit is right there. And
well, that's a check your corner. We've been calling for it. That is as checked as a corner can be. The Earthshatter comes down, takes in a couple more as Mangachu looks to continue this. They're just pushing through this hallway, Discord or not. The cleanse comes onto Mini as he continues to swing the hammer, doing some masonry work over there with that giant hammer, swinging it down. They are cleaning up everyone. Midnight gets desuited and demoralized as he gets killed as well. There is not much left. Trying to come out for stall, perhaps. The wall comes in to prevent the charge to even get to the cart. That is going to be it. They complete Dorado with 54 seconds left in their time bank.
Yeah, and I mean, right now that does look like a very dominant performance. They only got really stopped at that last point, exactly, but they've been able to roll relatively quickly, and it's off the back of Mangachu. I don't know how much this guy does for his team, but that's just ridiculous. The amount of hooks he was hitting, the amount of people he was putting out of position, and how dominant he was on that aspect. But you can't, you know, at the same time, on the other hand, you gotta give, you know, tip your hat to B-drop. B-drop is, you know,
yeah,
like we said before, the core of a lot of this team, and Naptime is helping out. You know, Naptime and Bread Expert are both doing their jobs. They're not missing transcendences. They're not missing, you know, sound barriers. They're protecting their team. They're allowing, you know, B-drop to get that room to create a nano boost. I would say, you know, maybe a little better focus on nano boosting, but I mean, if you're winning the game by that much, it really there's not much to complain about. On the other side, though, Rise Nation, I think they definitely can do this. Destro has gotten a lot of great moves. I think Midnight needs to be able to hit, you know, a few more impactful Graviton surges, but Locke has been doing well. Retzi has been getting on the board, and Spirit, I mean, Spirit is trying his best in terms of getting that flank, and I think he's a very smart player, and I think he knows exactly what he needs to do. But right now, right here, it's all about pushing through his first point and getting the momentum for the rest of the map.
Well, Mangachu's been playing the flashiest hero of each composition, right? I mean, Pharah is Pharah, Rocket Queen indeed, and Roadhog just hooks look cool. They don't feel good to get hooked, but they look cool. So everyone on his team is playing their role pretty expertly right now. And yes, it is good to highlight B-drop too, because his play for the most part, especially with the bio grenades, has been absolutely on point. Now they've got a little bit of this that I think could work against this composition. They have to know by now that this is what you're going against, right? This is what they're going to run. So they've got the flanking kind of DPS, which can work, not necessarily the burst. So the Retzi and Spirit gonna have to do their best. They were able to carry this team earlier today. A interesting rollout as they all come right. I think they want to try to take the high ground as much as possible. Yeah, they're just gonna roll out through here, make sure this is all clear up top. Maybe try to wait for someone to just bait a hook down here and then jump on them from behind. But there is nothing. They're not going to find any purchase. They're just going to give up pretty much a lot of this for free. The area that you want to fight as triple tank, triple support is just right open in this courtyard. Now, if they get a pick early, they will push. They're going to push right through all the way, coming a giant sneak attack. Mangachu with the first kill onto Vaz right there. He's looking for a little bit more as they have switched spots, offense and defense. The second hook misses. That is unfortunate. He is going to take a bit of a breather, but this defense is now the offense. The offense is now the defense. Cats are living with dogs. This is crazy. Another hook on Foz, who he just sent back to respawn, comes out to Mangachu yet again. Demoralizing is just the word to describe this.
Yeah, honestly, this is how bad it was. Spirit was actually looking for a huge flank, climbing over the wall on the side to get into the back line, but his team just got engaged on and he's not there enough. And man, to add insult to injury, that nano boost is gonna go. He's gonna go into the back line, clean up as many as he can. Retsy's doing as much as he can, try to take down Hui, but that's not nearly enough. He can take down at least 2 more people. Mangachu grabs Retsy, and that's just, this is not good. And I don't know, like how do you counter this? How do you counter Mangachu hitting every hook in the game? Is there even a way to beat that?
Well, I don't know. Send us your suggestions. That is Scribe Overwatch at Twitter. It's a 1 in there. I've been trying to theory craft about triple tank total support for a while, and right now it seems uncounterable except if you run it yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Man, that Graviton Source keeps them all together. This is the opportunity the offense has to really strip apart, but man, I think that sound barrier mitigates so much more of the damage. I think that Spirit Ozzy was looking for some resets off that dash, but he's not able to. Mangachu is able to take out Destro, and now they're just chasing, they're just trying to clean up. They're pushing them back all the way back to spawn. Do not pass go, do not collect $200, go straight to jail. Or back to your spawn in that case, but the good part about this is they actually do still have a few mount ultimates. B-drop, I mean, they need to change the way, like, Ana's charging up. She just used your nano boost not that long ago. Now she's back up to 100% basically.
Yeah.
And Hui has that knockback from that Primal Rage, and Mangachu is just playing super sneaky right down. Pulls, oh, thank goodness he missed. That would have been super bad if he pulled it, but yeah, I mean, this is kind of what happens right there. Destro gets slept and gets taken out immediately. That's not a lot of fun. But I will say this though, this is all B-drop being so good at micromanaging, at basically saying like having the right of mind of saying like, well, I'm gonna sleep him, and I'm gonna be honest. It's not super easy to hit those sleep darts, especially from the range that he's hitting them. He's not like hitting them
those
at
sleep
like
darts are insane to hit.
And he's somehow doing it, and man, this is just giving more room, and they're all in the flank position right now, so they can run through right now, but man, that sound barrier does a lot, and that's honestly exactly what they mean, but that Primal Rage is pushing them enough, trying to buy some more time. B-drop does kill locked, and I think that's all they're trying to do right now. Use that Transcendence to just stall out the point a little more. I don't think they were specifically looking to take this fight. B-drop somehow kills Retsy as well.
Yeah, he was sleep darted. I switched to him because I thought Retsy could change this fight around with his Deadeye, unable to do so. Midnight is still in there getting some fight done as well. Spirit trying to do his best. He does get hooked though, but hooking in a Reaper is always a dangerous proposition. Spirit comes around the corner, takes him out. Spirit is trying to do his best, put this team with him. That Transcendence comes in to keep everyone nice and healthy. Spirit, again, this is something I would have liked to see earlier. I think just Reaper is where you maybe start with this composition. He is so good against tanks that, yes, it's not the perfect answer, but it's the best you got.
Yeah, and I mean, they just managed to do it. Retsy is able to pick up a few kills, and right, they do have a lot of ultimate tools in order to convert this. If they can take the high ground advantage right now and at least dominate it and maybe control it for a little bit more, they should be able to control this last street push and maybe catch Mangachu out.
They've got both DPS on the high ground with their ultimates ready, so it's going to be Retsy, their Spirit up here as well with his Death Blossom, tanks with their ultimates as well, maybe to knock everyone about, but it looks like, Retsy is going to bail out. They're going to jump right into this. They're going to try to take advantage of the aggressive position that Tempo Storm's trying to take. Spirit going to town. He's discorded. Can he get that tank? He needs to go one by one, but all of his team is dying around him. 4 deaths from this super aggressive push. Hooks deleted by, they still have 4 ultimates to work with, but they're going to be pushing into 4 ults of their own.
Yeah, honestly, that's part of the kind of confuses me is when you get ready for the flank, you have to realize you're not with your team. Your team doesn't have a lot of DPS. Your team needs to play safe. They can't let themselves get engaged upon, but Tempo Storm, I think they honestly saw the big flank was coming, and they were like, well, you're not with your team. We're going to take the 6v4 fight, and this is happening again. Luckily, that Sound Barrier is able to mitigate some of the damage from the engagement Tempo Storm. That Transcendence is just doing so well, mitigate all the damage Spirit could possibly pull, and Spirit does get pulled out of the air by Mangachu. Mangachu does go down, but Naptime Drake, Dressrow in the end. Hui goes down, takes down Retzi. Man, that Nano Boost is a huge game changer right now on Mini, kiting back block, forcing him back, and Spirit is just trapped as well. There is no answer to this. Winston, I guess Primal Rage might be a good answer, but I mean, he's just running away right now. That's just additional health so he doesn't die.
You know, in sports, you and I both watch sports, when a team is just feeling it and there's nothing you can really do about it. I have that feeling about Tempo right now, that they're just feeling it, because there's no other way to really explain why they would be super aggressive on the defense that they don't have to. It's clearly working for them, but I think they're just all in the zone. They feel they can do absolutely no wrong, and so far they haven't been proven wrong.
Yeah, and they drop down again, and this is just another fight after another fight. And is that, dude, I don't know. I think Midnight was slept by B-Drop, and I don't know how good B-Drop is.
Oh, Spirit still does get some kills. He's going to have to wait for this Transcend to fade. He's going to try to go back in and take down this Zenyatta, but the whole hog comes in, pushes him away. He's trying to look for it. He does get hooked, but that hook, oh, he almost takes down Mangachu, but Naptime keeps him alive. Oh, this is just bad after worse. Hooked again from Mangachu, takes down Xretzi. I'm going to stop switching to people. I feel like I'm playing God and sentencing people to death.
Complete.
Let's just watch Mangachu. Basically, it's the Mangachu stream. This is actually twitch.tv/Mangachu_ right now. But that's ridiculous. I mean, like, you're exactly right. They're feeling in the zone right now.
It's not just Mangachu, though. I mean, did you see Mini that time? I mean, the problem is that a lot of compositions are snowbally, but when you get the Ana ult as fast as you do, that's like kind of lighting the fuse to this thing, right? Then you hook up Mini with it, so he can just swing the hammer without any repercussions at all. So then he's got his ult, and you can put people on the ground, and everyone else can charge their ult, and then you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of how confident they are in their play right now. They jumped off the top of the high ground onto, you know, basically they didn't even know if they had any ults. I guarantee that, you know, Tempo Storm wasn't keeping track of any of the opponent's ults. They kind of just jumped down and were like, well, we're going to take this fight. We're going to win it regardless or not. And, you know, for the better part of that fight, it did look like they were losing, but, you know, they just came in the clutch and were able to hit some, you know, some key abilities and even out the fight. And, I mean, I'm just speechless right now. They came from, like, you know, a one game deficit, and now they're up 2-1 and going into the last map.
Yeah,
well, a possible last map.
So this Tempo Storm team is mostly Northern Gaming Red, and then a couple guys in Hui and Mini. And B-Dropped was their 6, but the core of it is Naptime, Mangachu, and Bread Expert. Those are Northern Gaming Red. That's 2 supports and then Mangachu. And then they added a couple tanks and flexes, things like that. And one of the biggest problems Northern Gaming was Red was having in their end of days is I looked at some of the games, and I didn't even have to be in on comms, and I just said there, what do you think? I said, you guys definitely aren't talking to each other. No one is talking to each other. You guys don't like playing with each other. Your comms look like they're bad. They look like they're bad from my perspective. And so I confirmed that ended up being the case. They made some part changes picked up by Tempo Storm, and it looks like they're having a really good time right now.
Yeah, and I mean, this is what a better way to kind of come into this kind of great tournament. You know, off the back, honestly, beating FaZe, sure, it's a best of one and anything can happen there, but at the same time, they've just been so dominant.
They beat FaZe with mind games. They beat FaZe with player icons.
They didn't even need it. Too easy, just rage quit in lobby, and then we're just like, well, we don't need to win that best of one anymore. But at the same time, I mean, B-Drop, I just can't stop emphasizing him. He's like one of the best. Like, maybe he's not. I don't want to say maybe he's the best Ana, because I haven't seen every Ana in the world, but he's just doing a lot of crazy stuff. His sleeps are on point. He's sleeping targets from like a super safe distance. It's not like, oh man, I'm using that to kite opponents, or I'm using that to, you know, get away from everyone. He's using them aggressively. He's making sure that you can't get that shield up when we're trying to engage on you. He's using that to his benefit. So, I mean, B-Drop is on fire right now, and that's, you know, that's the core of the team. If your Ana is on point, there's not much you can. I mean, there's not much the opponent can do.
No, not at all. The next map for set match, or set match, tournament match for Tempo Storm is going to be Lijiang Tower. Do you think we'll see some Pharah?
I hope. I mean, you kind of have to, depending on how much Mangachu is feeling himself right now. I can guarantee we'll see some Pharah, and that's the thing right now, right? That was a big thing you wanted to avoid, and that's something that we talked about a lot with Kongdu, a team that looks very good on Lijiang Tower. The fact they weren't really able to react to this Pharah, and this is the worst part, right? They just played 2 straight maps, like I guess realistically, yeah, like 2 straight maps of 3 tank, 3 support, and now they have to immediately adapt to having a Pharah Mercy on the other side. That's not something you can instantaneously turn your brain on, and this is for the the entire tournament, so it's a little bit risky, but if they can make the adaptation very quickly, if they can get their their McCrees, their Discord orbs, maybe even a soldier or a different answer to this immediately out, maybe they bring their own mercy their own mercy Pharah combination, maybe they can take this to like a final game 5, but right now they need to adapt to the Mangochu the Mangochu factor almost immediately.
Yeah, I think part of the strategy, well, I mean, there's only a couple of King of the Hills left in this, but part of it is like they probably just don't want to run into that composition again. I wouldn't, after the way it worked out for them running against triple. That didn't look fun, so I mean, I guess your last best chance is to go to a King of the Hill. Really, I think it's gotta be Xretzi, right? I mean, he's played that amazing McCree, and Mangachu and Naptime are going to be taken to the skies. So, conversely to that, if I'm Hui, my only job is to shut down the McCree, right?
Yeah,
so
and I mean,
it's counters to counters to counters.
Yeah, and that's the problem right now with not having a clear answer to to Pharah, and this is why I think honestly Pharah might be making a huge comeback into the meta, just because there are not a lot of big huge answers to Arrested, right? Because it used to be McCree used to be able to take her out of the sky, but when they nerfed his almost infinite range drop off and made it a little more mid range, he doesn't have the ability to take her out of the sky. But right now, Mangachu raining down from above, and I hope they're ready. But Destro, Spirit does take out Bread Esper, so that's already a 5v6 on the side. Temple Storm, that's a huge positive, but in the background, Mangachu just landing a lot of rockets, trying to kite them back, and Explosive explodes Midnight off the entire thing, but Spirit does take down Mangachu, so Mangachu's life is short-lived, and Retzi does take down Mini, so that's already a huge cap, the fact that Mangachu gets taken out of the air so early on, and this might be a good way for them to answer.
Yeah, Rise is not out of this yet. It's going to be off the back of their DPS, I think, too. And Spirit yet again takes down his counterpart in Hui, so that's a nice kill for them. Tempo can't necessarily engage off of this. Xretzi's just going to get back into a position to wait for the Pharah to peek over top. This is where you want to be as McCree for the most part, trying to keep yourself safe. But look, he's checking the rocks to see that the rocks are at his back. Hopefully that they'll stop him from a boop over the edge, which is surely coming from Mangachu as he comes over the top onto this team. Damage booster rockets coming in. Malak takes down Hui really early in that fight. Mangachu finds himself in trouble, stays alive just long enough to come over the edge. It's him versus Retzi right now, 1v1. Retzi wins that 1v1.
Yeah, honestly, man, I would be super frustrated if my name was Spirit. Yes, my name is not showing on the gift, but what Spirit basically did was ult and tried to knock down Naptime. All his entire goal was trying to chase down Naptime and Mangachu and make them feel super uncomfortable, not able to really stand still and do a lot of damage. So even though he didn't get a lot of kills, that was a great initiative on his part to take advantage of that. And I mean, they're finding answers without needing to really take advantage of Mangachu. Mangachu just honestly seems a little... he's not hitting as much of the shots as he would normally, but the thing is, they're just being super consistent right now. Retzi's getting a lot of the kills that he normally does, and that's also the most important part.
Retzi takes down the combo by himself. High noon in the backside. He does pay for it, but you will pay that price every single day if you can take down the combination. Huey does come in, but there is an opposing Dragon Blade that is on Spirit right now as he tries to get in there and take them down. He does end up with a couple kills towards it. Sorry, missed it a little bit late on that. So, really nice Deadeye. Of course, Deadeye's not always going to be able to deal with this combination that comes back to life, but this is back against the wall for Tempo. This is looking pretty bad for them as they have to win this next fight.
Yeah, they are at least rotating to kind of get a different take on the entire point. Make sure that the defending team is a little out of position right now. Mangachu needs to get a pick right now. His team is falling apart, and he needs to make sure he gets something at least out of all of this. But he's just he's just trying to stay alive. He's not really looking. That rocket barrage catches one person, 2 people, and maybe that's might not be enough because they're already at 99%.
Yeah, well that's 3K on the point though. It's only Midnight on the point, so they might be able to at least fight it back for the time being, but still in a rough position as Mangachu does clean up, takes down Locke. Midnight also dies on the point, so yes, they turn that back around, but so far it has been all Rise up until that point. Now Tempo does have most of the ultimates they want to work with. I don't think Neptune's gotten a res off this game either, which is a little bit concerning, just kind of based on how the rhythm of the game goes. That has got to be huge for Mangachu. As soon as he sees the Cowboy in the kill feed, he goes to the sky without any fear.
Yeah, and I mean, this is exactly what he wants to do. He's forcing them to channel through a single choke point right now, and they have to go. They don't really have any people who can wall ride or climb up walls as much, so as long as he keeps on spamming, and that's the Winston in the backline, and that Transcendence hopefully to help him out, but Mangochu takes down Midnight already, and Midnight just unable to help out his team at all, but Spirit does take down You Must Hui in advantage. But right now, they're so dominating this one thing. Oh, man, they didn't strike him, but instant res back, and Nap Time is just playing super safe, comes off the edge, tries not to die, and then that rocket barrage raining down
so late.
Just not enough. And I mean, that looks so good inside Temple Storm. They got a huge res off and aspect, but they were just return killed. And this is exactly what they needed to do. That's 99% on the clock. They need to get on this point ASAP. I think the moment it turns.
Yeah, Retzi is going to have Deadeye up too, so he's going to try to save it, but he's going to have to fan the hammer, take down Winston first. He knows where this is going to come from. That is where Mangochu wants to come in from. Oh, wow, he spots out Hui. He just tries to transport in. The high noon comes off, gets the reinforcing Bredex, but the combo is still on the point. Retzi is going to try to get in here and answer this, but Mangochu blows himself up. Nap time done. This point is still going. Winston comes back in, gets good old flashbanged and fanned the hammer upon. Alright, there's some life in this Rise Nation team yet.
Yeah, and honestly, that looks so good, and that's that's with the Pharah that we've been seeing so dominant in previous games on King of the Hill. Honestly, that was my main concern going in. Did they have something to deal with it? I don't think they need any gimmicks. I think they really just needed to have good team fights going. I can't help but think, Retzi has been hitting a lot of this as well, but Spirit definitely being so good with kind of like keeping the backline busy, creating room for Retzi to really do a lot of the work.
How do I trust a man who is half machine?
The heart of a man still beats inside.
Alright, yeah, I just totally ruined my overlay. I'm the worst.
Let's get you here now. Enemies detected.
So in terms of the engage right now, in terms of the backline right now, Winston goes into the backline to really cut off some of the backline threats, but B dropped and Hui take down all Retzi and the rest of the threats. It looks like an easy capture for the side of Rise Gaming, but in the background right now, Desro is able to survive for a little longer. Right now, it looks like the team of Tempo Storm is able to capture the point and really just, force them to potentially come into a bad choke point right now. They do have quite a few ultimates. Mangochu has switched off on the Pharah onto the Tracer, and it's 87%. They're waiting for the fact of Rise Gaming to effectively come back around and try to maybe convert on that right now. But they flanked all the way around on that. Retzi does take down Mangochu, and Spirit takes down B-Drop, and this is a huge trade in terms of the defending team.
Is under attack.
He got the drop on him around the corner as Mangochu went down during that fight, so we're going to take an eye and see what Spirit is up to, as that Dragon Blade should be at the ready momentarily. He is alive, Desro on the point, so they are able to flip it back. Now, how far are they going to hold? You can generally gauge the confidence on where is this Zarya going to hold. Midnight trying to rain in some death from a distance. They are going to be able to push in a little bit. Spirit, though, is dropping that Dragon Blade. Is he going to get in? He does get some slashes off. Not any kills yet. He's got a Harmony Orb on that Zarya. He does get a lot of damage. Not necessarily the kills he's looking for. He does get a nice reflect kill on Nap Time, though, and now post Dragon Blade on the cleanup takes down Hui as well. Spirit going off as he tries to bring his team back into this. They do control the point, so Spirit just looking for the cleanup now. Lucio gets stuck on the point, discorded. Hopefully not DC'd. It looked a little bit odd for a moment there, but it's not B-dropped, so I doubt he got DC. Just a little stuck in the corner. Spirit bringing that fight back for his team. Even post Dragon Blade, didn't do a ton with the Dragon Blade, but just regular old M1, M2.
Yeah, and right now Mangochu's back on the Tracer, which means that, they don't have that air supremacy they had, so maybe this just comes up to pure team fight, but that great Graviton Surge catches too, so even though they had an aggressive sound barrier, that's not enough to take him out. Retzi does take down Nap Time, and I think Nap Time had an ultimate, so that's a lot of healing automatically down the bag, and this is just ridiculous.
Spirit is going absolutely crazy. Another 2 kills for Spirit. He's got Dragon Blade up yet again. He's still on the chase, takes down Mangochu too. Mangochu did take down Block, but that is small consolation to the murder show that Spirit is displaying. This is insanity. It's a great point for Genji, but wow, Spirit.
Yeah, he's going off, and it's exactly what needs to happen. He needs to take charge and needs to make sure that, they don't really have a great answer for Genji right now. They don't have any way to really stop him. They don't have a Reaper, they don't have a McCree to flashbang, and Spirit just takes down Nap Time again. This has got to be frustrating on the side of the defense.
Well, we'll see if Hui can do something himself. Nope, switch to it. That is the caster Kiss of Death. Retzi still alive, though, on point, trying to clean up the rest of this crew. No one left on the point. Rise is going to maybe get in here to touch it, but they're going to have to be doing so into a Deadeye. So that is Rise Nation bringing it back on Lijiang. And if you like Overwatch, I guess root for Rise right now so we can go to a 5th and final map. But they are up 2-0 on this stage. You might not even have to root for them. They might just do it.
Yeah, might just take it to a game 5, so who knows if that could be the right answer for them to take. But at the same time, Mangachu goes back to the tried and true Pharah. I think that honestly was working before and it worked now. I didn't think he honestly had a lot of answers on Tracer, and that's kind of the big issue, right? To counter Genji, you need something to deal with it. So either you need another Genji to go in and counter the Dragon Blade, or you need, you know, a McCree on the back end side to flashbang. Maybe you need a Reaper to kind of control the Genji on that side, maybe damage him, force him back. But they have a good answer right now in Mangachu. He's gonna honestly have a good time dealing with Spirit as long as he doesn't get reflected or taken out of the sky. But Retzi being so on point means that Mangachu is never safe from anything. So it's one Discord orb, maybe one headshot away from death. But right now, that's all that they can hope for.
Yeah, well, Retzi's reticule is just aimed at the sky immediately as soon as he rolls out. He's trying to get that damage in, but now everyone is a target for him. The Winston does come in. They have to focus on him. V-Drop goes down early thanks to Spirit. There is another couple headshots in from Retzi here. Nap time goes down. That should end the push, or at least make Mangachu a little more hesitant to go in there. There is Retzi showing up huge, takes down Mangachu. Bread Expert, meanwhile, taken out by the opposing Lucio. That is first cap for Rise Nation, and you know what? That was as dominant as it could be for the fight they're looking for. I think if Mangachu has another fight like that, he's going to be off the fair. He's going to stay on it for the moment because he wants to get a barrage up at some point. Damage Boost Barrage coming right over the top, trying to get these last bits of damage in so he can charge his ultimate, but already getting poked on. Nap time super low, they have to say, so far back. Your Spirit goes for the cheeky reflect in on him, unable to get it done. Retzi, meanwhile, has taken down Hui. Retzi continues to go wild, and they put the Winston on him. It does not do enough. Retzi's still safe in the back line. He's gonna try to, I guess, go for nap time. He's missing a lot of shots. Retzi, the anti-clutch, but Destro there to take down nap time. Expand the hammer as he redeems himself. It is going to be Rise Nation holding this point.
Yeah, honestly, super smart by Spirit. Basically, Spirit was able to zone off nap time and Mangachu from coming up with the rest of the team. So the rest of the team on the side of Tempo Storm was trying to get around and try to approach the point. They were basically fighting a 4v5, and Spirit was just able to keep them so busy. And by the time, you know, the rest of the Pharah were able to join up, it was right down for that, you know, that aggressive sound barrier and aggressive graviton surge, just waiting, hoping they get some damage, but that's fine. All they do is push them off. That problem, we're just gonna boop a lot of players off. Mangachu is so far out right now and gets taken down by Retzi.
Retzi gives him the Executioner's Kiss there as he goes down, throws in another flashbang. It has been the Spirit and Retzi show. Everyone else, of course, keeping them alive. The flashy DPS, though, definitely showing up here today. Let's give Spirit a little love. It's been the Retzi cam for a while. Mini is going to have a chance to turn this around, and he is going to have to. Graviton has to be the catalyst to bring this back. Hui is going to be able to, the Death Blossom. They have the ult advantage. This is a fight that they should be able to win, Tempo Storm.
Yeah, and they have the res in their back pocket as well. But Mini going down so early in the fight might mean, oh man, he's forced to res super early on Napta, but Napta immediately gets traded out. So that's not exactly a great thing for him. He's to get Midnight going for the kill, and that Graviton Surge just not doing as much damage as they want. Sure, Mini gets 2 kills, but he has to trade out with the rest of the team.
Mini with 3 kills doing his best, but it was way too late, and they forced that res early because of a Mini death. We're going to map number 5.
Man, this is going the distance, and Mangachu has to be beating himself up right now. This was their chance. They did so well on Lijiang Tower last time around, but now they got cleared 3-0. And the Pharah just, oh man, I can't wait to see this. Is he at least... Oh, okay. Oh, all right. You know, that's sometimes, you know, sometimes you...
Hey, Resurrection's an important ability, and it turns games around, but there are some other things that are important as well.
Yeah, but maybe we need to change the way that play of the game registers because, I mean, luckily, I mean, he wasn't exactly in a room that time, so that's a huge positive. He, I think he did a little jump before he hit the Q button, so that's obviously, that's not just a single button left that you can do, but man, they're going to Nepal, and this is another King of the Hill, and this is, you know, this has got to play a little bit of mind games in the back of Mangachu's head, right? Because, you know, he's been bringing the Pharah, you know, to a lot of these King of the Hill maps, and he's been dominating in them. And Nepal is actually a pretty good Pharah map as well, but it's got to be creeping to the back of the head. He wasn't able to convert at all last map, and who knows, maybe he just does, he maybe loses his confidence after the last game, doesn't bring Pharah on here, or maybe he plays tilted and maybe doesn't have the great adaptation that he wants from the Pharah. So this is very risky, and I think that, you know, they need some time. They really need some time to think about it within the 20 seconds of assembly. They need to say, hey, either the team needs to tell Mangachu, hey, we believe in you, we know you can 100% do this, go out and win us this game, or they have to figure out another solution, another way to do this without the Pharah.
Yeah, they're going to actually take a second to think about it now, as still waiting for the ready up on this Tempo Storm team. We haven't seen Nepal at all today. Not once, not never. So they're going to take a sec as they do talk over a little bit of strategy. No problem for us. All right.
But yeah, I mean, this is going to be a little stressful because, you know, Nepal has a few really good sites for that Pharah. You have a lot of damage. You have a lot of open air, honestly, to really fly in. So a lot of great things from there. But man, it's not just the Retzi show, but Retzi is making a lot of really high quality kills as well. But it's just a matter of, you know, I don't even know. I just feel like for some reason either Mangachu's not having a great on game in this series, or, you know, he's just getting neutralized by something I'm not necessarily seeing. But props to Rise for keeping this so close. It looked so bad when they fell behind pretty early on, but they managed to take it back.
I think one of the big differences too, it's Retzi is not being focused down in the same way that the previous McCree was focused down against Tempo Storm, where they just, I think it was Bamboo, right?
Yeah.
So he was trying to stay on the McCree, and he was getting work done, but then they would just send everyone else after him, because if they do so, also Spirit has been a pain for them. He has been all over, and he's harassing that combo a lot too. You saw it there on Lijiang, that they would try to get through that corridor, and it would just be Spirit hanging out with a reflect, being like, what are you going to do? You can't shoot rockets at me. Then he was out of there. It was just really kind of like you can't do anything, you're up here, I know that, and you can't do anything to me later. And so Spirit played a big role in that as well. Locke also nailed a lot of discords. His Zenyatta plucked the Mangachu out of the sky several different times as well. So they definitely had a much stronger answer to Mangachu on the Pharah, which is why they may need to think about what they're going to run here. It's a map that you can see a lot of different things on. The stages vary so wildly that I think we might end up seeing two different compositions here depending on what stage we roll into.
Yeah, and I mean, they're still thinking right now, and this is honestly, this might just be a break time right now. They need to reset, and I do agree. I think this team needs to use this time. They need to be able to calm down, untilt themselves, and get back into this game, right? Because, well, I mean, they just readied up right now, so I think they're ready to go into game, and hopefully that, you know, that's going to be a huge positive moving forward. Maybe they found an answer. Maybe they talked to Mangachu. Mangachu now has the confidence back. He'll be able to play this, but Nepal is definitely a map. I really like Nepal. I do think there's so many different variation, like you said before, in terms of like different aspects, different terrain that can honestly be privy to a lot of different compositions that are brought out. And, you know, this first one is no different. We're gonna go in, and man, I really like Pharah. I honestly really like Pharah here, and even though it's still kind of indoors, but you still have such a huge skybox to really utilize. So definitely use it for booping people off with concussive blasts.
Well, it also is kind of a pretty good Roadhog map. So Mangachu has been either on Pharah or Roadhog for the majority of the evening, and I have to say, like, kind of back and forth, his Pharah was phenomenal earlier. His Roadhog has been nearly unstoppable. So he is queued up on the Roadhog right now. That does look like they're going to run that. Other than that, B-Dropped is on a Reaper, which we have yet to see him on tonight as well. Hui, they're gonna, well, B-Dropped is switching. Yeah, Hui is gonna play McCree, so a lot of switch-ups from this Tempo Storm team, and it looks like this is for the most part Rise Nation's King of the Hill lineup they've been running most of the evening. So as far as comfort levels go, you'd have to say Rise Nation probably a little more comfortable on this map.
Oh man, they're running a very interesting composition right now with the Reaper and the McCree, along with, that's a lot of high damage on the Tempo Storm side. So I think they're looking to capitalize on the fact that they might be diving in, and I think they honestly might be trying to look to pick off Spirit, but they basically just rotated all the way around trying to chase each other right now.
They're bringing around the Rosie of Nepal. It happens all the time.
Yeah, but they're trying to get better positioning on each other, and right now it's all about catching someone out of position. Nap Time is in a relatively good position, although he's a little distance from his team, so that could potentially be a little dangerous right now. But right now, the first team to get their first steps on there is Rise, and they've been able to cut them off just a little bit. Mangachu is able to pull in Midnight, but he's unable to capitalize. Midnight actually takes down Mangachu for pulling in a Zarya with shield on, so that's huge right now. Retzi takes down B-Drop, Spirit takes down, Spirit takes down Bread Expert, and Mini is just going insane, and Nap Time just falls off as well, and this is just ridiculous. This is such a strong showing.
Yeah, the question is now, where are they going to hold up here? You do have Midnight looking to poke in right now, trying to get all that damage, and he is at 90% on his Graviton, which is likely to be one of the next ultimates that you see. Graviton can pull people off of the edge. Retzi also is going to have his Deadeye available, which is great on this map because of all the distance that McCree gets to play with. Now they're coming here. Here comes the Graviton. Do they have the follow-up? It is going to be Retzi on the follow-up on Mangachu as well, so they do end up cleaning up 3. B-Drop does get in, but he's cleaned up by Retzi as well. Where is my Retzi cam? That needs to be a thing. Retzi is in here right now, getting the cleanup yet again. Retzi and Spirit. This looks like a completely different team on King of the Hill than it did on the payload maps for sure. And right now, Tempo Storm has to be a little bit scared. This is we talked about how they were playing with in the zone, like they were having fun on fire. That fun is gone. It is replaced by fear because they are not looking like the team they were on these King of the Hill maps.
Honestly, on the side of the defense right now, they need to basically bait out exactly what they need to do. They need to bait out some ultimates. Good Graviton starts to get countered out by the Transcendent, and this is big. And Spirit still has his Dragon Blade. He's been holding on for such a long time, just unsheathed right now to capitalize on the fact that the Transcendence is over. The sound barrier has been expired. He's been keeping a great ultimate discipline on his side, and unfortunately, I guess luckily for the side of Tempo Storm right now, they do have the ultimate advantage in B-Drop. B-Drop has the advantage of the fact that, both Locke and Vaz have both utilized their defensive ultimates, meaning that you can drop in anytime you want with a death loss and use it to clean up. But if I was on the side currently of, of Rise Nation, I would just try to bait it out. I honestly would try to get him into a team fight, try to engage on him, and immediately kite back. That way, he wastes his ultimate, and I stay alive.
Well, they are rotating around. Retzi takes down Bread Expert to begin this fight, though. Already 5v6. They're going to look for that miracle Death Blossom, but it's high noon. That should be it. That should be map as Retzi cleans up another 3K. Retzi has been a dominant factor in these King of the Hill matchups. Up stage 1, 2 stages for Rise Nation, bringing this back.
Man, they did not get a single percentage on that map, and right now it's just super frustrating because you're right, Mangachu, switched off the Pharaoh thinking he'd get more success on as the Roadhog, but even as the Roadhog did not see as much success there. But mainly it was just because how good Rise Nation was at countering ultimates. We only had really one super large engage that burst out ultimates, but I honestly feel that Rise Nation was able to stagger the ultimates a little better, mitigate a lot of damage, and great ultimate discipline from Spirit. Waiting until the very last second after Transcendence and Sound Barrier both exhausted to pull out the Dragon Blade and capitalize on the fact that no one else had any ultimates anymore, and B-Drop just didn't have the right advantage, and they're going for that 3-3 comp on King of the Hill.
Well, I mean, use what got you there. It's not necessarily King of the Hill comp that we've seen a lot of the time, but it should be able to maybe negate some of the damage. They've been having trouble with Spirit and Retzi. That Roadhog should be able to do it, and Zarya's not bad against either of them either. So Retzi's going to try to roll in, use that damage. They do take down Mini first as the Discord and Delete is in full effect. A hook comes in, but unable to finish. Locke with another couple of kills. It is a 2 versus 3 kill right now, and there it is. Rise Nation cleans up in no small part because Locke was able to get 3 kills on his own and contributed probably to every single kill. Locke has been a kind of unheralded part of this composition, but his Zenyatta play has been phenomenal when he's not getting hooked. It has been their primary target, but his Discord has been spread out really nicely, and right there he contributed to nearly every kill on that point. So here comes the Ana. They're trying to charge it up 99%. I would imagine that maybe Mini is the target here. There it is. Mini is on the Nana boost and Winston. He does get flashbang, but that is only to slow him down momentarily. Still in the backline, harassing this Zenyatta. Mangachu, meanwhile, behind us is getting a couple kills. Mini with the cleanup. Mangachu with a 3K during that, so they are finding a way to make this triple work on King of the Hill.
Yeah, and honestly, but at the same time, I think they might be punished for pushing it a little too far right now. They need to get back on the point, but the side of Rise Gaming, I don't think they're worried right now. They have a lot of ultimates they can potentially use. Retzi did get taken out, so he's going to be a little staggered in terms of that, but they can wait. They're not in a huge rush to get onto the point. They still have, around like 15 seconds before, they manage to catch up. So They need to burst the ultimates, they need to use it correctly, and there's no defensive ultimates they can really use. Transcendence gets burned out, but the fact is the fight is so diverse, and oh man.
Oh, there's the bio grenade into the Transcend, followed up by the whole hog. The bio grenade might not have caught everyone though, as it did not seem like it was the full delete they were looking for. However, there's a hook, takes down the Lucio. Mangachu in a little bit of trouble, they're down to 163 health, and Spirit still alive, trying to wreak chaos onto this point here as he continues to be chased down. He is in trouble. Winston is right there. Spirit grabs a pack at the very last second, gets full health, saves him only momentarily from the mean hook of Mangachu as they continue to hold the point. Mangachu's spray game is definitely on point as he is just plastering it all over the place.
Yeah, honestly, the big problem here that a lot of teams are going to have to deal with right now is B-Drop has an ultimate up again. And, you know, they take a lot of damage, but because they can heal so quickly with a combination of the Bio Nade and a lot of other... That engage goes into the background. Spirit basically is able to take down B-Drop before. I don't think he was able to use his nano boost at all.
No, he's still holding it. He missed the sleep dart on him, so Retzi is able to get some kills done on his Tracer too. Here comes another whole hog from Mangachu as he starts busting it off again. That's how much damage he's been doing. He had it up in the last fight as well, but it is all for naught as everyone remains to get cleaned up. And mostly, the big common theme with all these targets dying around the point is they all die with a purple ball over their head. Locke's Discord game absolutely on point.
Yeah, and honestly, that's exactly how you shred it, and that's why open maps like King of the Hill are so good for Zenyatta, and might be kind of a tough situation for a 3-3 combination, is because of how wide it is and how little obstacles there are. You can Discord so much easier, and man, Mini's just trying to chase him around the back line, trying to get him, but Mangachu able to capitalize so well on that Graviton Surge.
Yeah. That's twice that Mini's gotten the Nana boost, and it's just been Mangachu cleaning up in the back line while Mini pushes all the support away, because when you're chasing the support away, that's all your heal. Your heal is gone. There is another kill from Mini and Mangachu. It has been the M&M show for sure as they bring it back for tempo storm. They're going to try to get some pressure up here up front to try to make sure they cannot get back on the point. 96%. Is there anyone alive who can even contest this? Spirit is, but that is half-hearted as he nearly dies. Zenyatta a shred away from getting to the point. 1-1 on our final map of the night.
Yeah, we're going to see a third different map before we move into two random selected maps for the repeat point. But man, this just seems so back and forth. We just talked about how good Rise looked on the first point, how different they look. But the second point right now, bringing out the 3-3 composition, it seems to just work. That's something I think they weren't ready to expect, and they're not really sure how to adapt from that format. But a good adaptation on the entire thing was Mini being swapped over from the Reinhardt onto the Winston in the role of that 3-3, giving him the ability to jump in. I think that's exactly what they needed to do. Get Locke out of position, make sure Locke can't Discord the way he's been able to, force him away, and honestly, after Locke's forced out of the way and you don't get amplified damage on your tanks, you have no way of melting them, and they're able to take the advantage.
Yeah, this is a point where both teams usually roll out the exact same way and they just run face force into each other. That's exactly what is happening now as both teams jump right towards each other. Spirit takes down Naptime first as both tanks go down. Mangachu does take out Desro early below. Mangachu misses his hook there, so it is 1-1 right now. 5v5 happening on the point, but Hui chimes in on his Zarya, blasting down a Spirit who may be a little out of position. He dashed out to safety. He's going to try to back out, has the orb on him, but it's a little too late. You cannot deflect that beam from Zarya. That's going to be a very quick half from tempo. And hello, who has their ult already? Hey, it's Ana.
Yeah, and I mean, this is getting a little ridiculous. But B-Drop did actually end up sleeping Midnight for a long period of time, so Midnight was actually not able to provide personal shields or portable shields to anyone else, so that's kind of a huge deal, especially when that's how you mitigate a large portion of your damage. But they're trying the same push once again, trying to get into the back line. Oh man, Retzi gets pulled out mid-air by Mangachu, and then automatically just changes the fight. That whole hog is just pulling everyone behind. Mini got nano boosted, and man, this is just getting pretty ridiculous. Mangachu again? What is this? How is he doing this?
A lot of it is you nana boost the one target, right? Mini's Annie is causing all sorts of chaos in that back line, and then everyone's trying to scatter to get away from the terror that is a blue lightning Reinhardt. And then you're just putting yourself in a position to get hooked again. And now they've got tanks up again. It seems like the triple always has an ult up, always has an advantage you're going to push up. And like I said, it's lighting the fuse that is the Ana ult. Right away, here comes the Graviton. Everyone's going into it right now. Mini's looking for the Earth Shatter, maybe on the follow-up here. Is there a 3 alive? He's going to hold on to it for now, just hammering away at this Zarya, who does not seem to even want to look at him, does not want to look her killer in the eye. A kind of a botched push there as Hui took down 3 in that fight. They're going to re-rotate back up to the top, hold this high ground, and do it all over again. So far, no great answer is to this triple-triple on King of the Hill. This is this Tempo Storm's just new permanent what they're going to run kind of composition? I don't see why you wouldn't.
I mean, if it's working, if it worked, don't break it. But at the same time, you know, Spirit and Retzi both have their ults right now, and that's on top of Midnight having their grab down. But how do you deal with this? Mangachu hooks lock out of mid-air again, and Mangachu takes down Spirit. This is just ridiculous. I don't want to say, I'm not trying to say this is a one-man show by any case of imagination. When he hooks forward out of mid-air and makes it difficult for him to put Discord on anyone, and that's your main way to counter your tanks. I mean, this is brutal. This is not even... There's no counterplay. How do you counterplay dodging Mangachu's like hook? Do you just not show your face at all?
Even when I take him off camera, he hooks the person I have the camera onto anyway. He wants all of the screen time. It's like the highlight intro, actually, just getting hooked right into Mangachu's face. And yeah, he does play the splashy hero, but I mean, B dropped in mini opening the space. No one's having a bad game on this Tempo Storm team tonight. Hui's thrown in a couple of 3Ks of his own, not only on Genji earlier, but also on Zarya here right now. And, you know, Tempo tried to play it a little bit differently on King of the Hill, saying like, oh, we'll just play a different kind of composition here. And then they're like, you know what? We were really good at this thing. Let's do that thing again. And this is what they're really good at. And here is Rise Nation trying to counter it. They are going to run the triple-triple of their own. Are we in this now where everyone's going to run that same thing against each other? God, I hope not.
Oh man, depending on how well this works and the success of this, we might be seeing this a lot actually. But I think honestly, this is the tough part right now. Is like this is honestly a lot of micro level decisions at this moment, right? It's all about your Anas in this case. Block takes down Mini because Mini can't heal himself. Hui takes down Retzi. Retzi can't heal himself, and this is just ridiculous. Mangachu's able to pick off phase, and luckily that second hook doesn't hit. But you know, like I was saying before, just as this fight gets kind of cleaned up, this kind of mirror composition is a lot about the micro level play from the side of your Ana. Your Ana needs to be able to figure out, hey, who do I nano boost? When do I throw my nade? And how do I capitalize on that, right? Because
the second part I think is actually the most important. The nano boost you can kind of just throw at your Reinhardt and be fine, but the grenade usage has been the deciding factor in a lot of these instances.
Yeah, and this is especially good against, you know, against Roadhog, who's able to do it, but man, that nano boost gets immediately countered by that charge. But that, oh man, that's kind of ridiculous. That nade took them out, and if anyone was trying to heal them at that point, they weren't able to.
Here's the thing, it's a snowball factor too. Every time you nano boost your Reinhardt, you're essentially giving him ult, right? You're passing the ball because you can start off there and just swinging the hammer, charges Reinhardt's shield a lot, or Reinhardt's ultimate rather, a lot. So he's able to get so much damage in that he's got ult up now that they are. Again, they never are without ultimate in this composition. He's going to swing through this giant ball of Graviton and clean up a lot. If there were any survivors, he could Earth Shatter them if he felt like wasting it, but that's not going to be the case. 50% now for Tempo Storm to take this map away with their triple-triple composition and take this tournament.
Yeah, luckily on the side of Rise Gaming, they do have another avenue. They do have the Earth Shatter along with the Nano Boost, but a lot of this is going to be about neutralizing the initial heal that Mangachu can provide. If you can land a good Bio Nade on him, and no one checks it, so the whole pod blows them off away. Look, they caught in the Graviton Surge, but there's just not enough damage being done. In fact, I think that Bio Nade actually might have been initially canceled out by, you know, the Sound Barrier, which is a shield, but Mangachu gets pushed off, and that's a pretty good sign for a Rise Nation, and they're able to retake the point, which is, I mean, with 73% left, Mini kind of suicides off the side. Retzi does have a hold hog, and Faz does have, you know, a sound barrier, so they do have options in terms of mitigating, you know, some initial damage and really punishing, you know, Tempo for being super aggressive. But at the same time, B drop is at 60%, so the time is coming.
Yeah, a couple more darts and they should be able to get it, but we'll see what X Retzi can do. Can he do a Mangachu impression? He's been hiding away. Maybe he'll try to hit a hook here. They break it down. They need to be pushing in. If you're going to grab, or if you're going to sound barrier like that, you have to be pushing in. Here comes the whole hog trying to push everyone away. Sleep darted out of it. On the ground is Retzi. Midnight trying to bring it back as B drop does go down before he can bring that back. Mangachu very low right now as he's trying to lay in some damage. Mini actually picking up the slack, but here comes another hook from Mangachu. Mini and Hui doing the work that Mangachu could not. Mangachu does chime in with another kill. Gets booped off of the edge, but Hui is going to have his Graviton up. Really, let's see what Spirit can do here, because he's going to have to hit his Nana boost. They're going to have to use it with Destro. Let's see if they can bring it back. Probably the last good push for them incoming.
Yeah, and they're on a clock right now because Mangochu has Hold Hog, which could potentially stall that point out for as long as they need. They're going to take the point head on right now, but Mangochu's coming around the right side. I don't think they notice he's back there, but they burn the Nano Boost trying to get it in. That Graviton Surge just coming right through, and Mangochu Hold Hogs and bursts them off, pushes everyone off, and there's just no return for this right now. I don't know how this man is so good.
Yeah. They're going to flip it Mangochu with a 3K there, as you mentioned. The Transcend came in late, but I don't think it would have mattered anyway, as B-Drop had the Bio Grenade up and ready to use. Where are they going to hold here? Where are they going to try this? Mangochu also trying to get another hook. He does. He starts it off with Lucio. There goes fast. Mangochu gets Retzi as well. That is going to be 2 kills really early on for the man of the evening as he continues his reign of terror. Desperation time as B-Drop tries to come and he gets booped off by Brett Expert. Another kill comes in as Desperation tries. Mangochu is going to go off the edge, but that is not going to matter. A fitting end to this set, to this series. Tempo Storm is your first place winners of the GosuGamers North American number 19 weekly.
Man, that's gotta hurt on the side of Rise Gaming, but at the same time, how do you beat someone who's just playing so on fire? And honestly, this is kind of like exactly what we talked about, where, you know, the micro level management of some of this stuff, because yeah, you can kind of throw like, you know, a nade in, but at the same time, you have to remember, your nade both amplifies heals and prevents heals from the enemy team. So it's both a buff and a debuff at the same time. So you have to figure out when you want to use it and in which places, because you're not going to guarantee landing it on everyone at the same time. Sometimes you have to sacrifice healing your team for gaining that debuff from everyone else, but this is ridiculous. Mangochu getting that 60% kill participation. He's been hitting every hook in the game. I can't even remember where, if he missed, honestly, I think he's missed less hooks than I think he was easily cruising towards like high 60% for honest hooks.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of talk about what are we going to how do you counter that I can even talk right now. But how do you counter that composition? And I think that you and I don't necessarily know the answer right now. I hope it's not a situation that we've seen in some metas of the only counter to it is to run it better. That I don't find that an interesting game right now, but right now it's newish, right? So the teams are still trying to figure it out. What, 3 weeks old, 2 weeks since it's been like really popular, something along those lines. I don't know, it's looking really rough. Right now, it might just be, you have to run it and you're going to have to run it better, and Tempo Storm ran it really, really well tonight. We gave Mangochu a ton of credit, and everyone on the team. Overwatch is a team game. Of course, look out for Rise Nation as well. They made a lot of fans tonight, I'm sure. They beat some top-tier teams. Just overall, a great tournament, and it has been a long tournament as we have now been on the air for 9 hours and 20 minutes. Scribe, this was our first time working together, casting. I hope you enjoyed yourself. It is time for you to sell out for yourself and yourself only, and we're going to say goodnight.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Obviously, you guys know I'm an editor for GosuGamers, so follow me at scribe with a 1OW on Twitter. You know, send me any questions you want, any hate comments, any criticism, and of course, if you love my casting, let me know, and I can definitely be hopefully sign on for other stuff as well. But I do a lot of interviews as well as additional other coverage, you know, articles, analysts, and stuff like that. So be sure to check out my Road to Atlanta series, which is all about the Overwatch Open, doing a lot of great interviews with behind-the-scenes production as well as players, and I definitely expect to do more interviews concerning that in the future. But besides that, you know, thank you so much for letting me cast, and I had a great time.
Well, I'm Hexagrams. At Hexagrams is my Twitter. We should be back with weeklies and other things throughout the week. Of course, if you have not followed this channel, please do follow it. This is where all the Overwatch action for GosuGamers takes place. We end up hosting a lot of third-party tournaments and stuff as well. Of course, you know, ZP should be back on this channel. ZP, the international man, could not join us today. I hope he's back next week because my wrist hurts. I'm tired. He's better at this than I am. He has more practice at this than I am. ZP, we miss you. But I want to thank our sponsors, of course, Maturino, Ting, OWKings.com. We've mentioned them all throughout the night. If you're looking for products that are similar and that they sell, please visit them and support them using the coupon codes we provided for you. That way they can track that you came from our tournament, and then they continue to do these tournaments, and then we have money that we can pay to teams, and then teams show up, and then we have these games, and you get to watch these tournaments. You see how this all works. Circle of life. That is it for the GosuGamers North America Weekly number 19. We will be back soon enough with number 20. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great evening.